job was a Mutual of Omaha commercial that never aired when I was 5 years old. Balancing school while working on a television show can be very interesting, and each year was different for me. For the most part, there's usually a tutor on the set, and you have your 3 hours of school a day. But it was important for me to maintain some sort of normalcy with my peers, so I actually kind of switched it up and took a couple of classes at my public school in the morning, and then I would go to work on Full House after and finish the rest of my studies with my tutor. And some years it became very difficult in the end of middle school and beginning of high school. So some years I just had a tutor on the set. I'm happy that I maintained friendships and also went to school at different years throughout the course of the show, because it just gave me more of a perspective of kind of real life, and then it helped me enjoy working all the more. I didn't have time to become active in clubs or sports or anything else with school. I really was working 5 days a week, and then having homework and my studies on top of it was a lot of work. And on the weekends I really wanted to rest, or I was traveling and doing publicity for the show. So I didn't have a chance to do that stuff, but I don't feel like I missed out on it. I had a wonderful experience being a child actor, and obviously enjoyed it enough that I'm continuing it as an adult. Transitioning from a child actor to an adult actor has gone pretty smoothly for me, but I think that's because I took a 10-year break from the business. So I really came back re-emerging as an adult. It can be a difficult transition, I think, when you're in the business the whole time and trying to establish yourself from a child to a teen to an adult and have your audience stay with you through that and accept you in those new roles. But for me, because I stopped acting when I was 22 and came back in my early 30s, it's gone pretty well. One of the biggest perks of being an adult actor versus a child actor is that you don't have to go to school. I always felt like I was kind of missing out while I was in school, and all the other adult actors were rehearsing and seemed like they were having such a blast. So now I finally come into that group where I get to hang out on set instead of being rushed back to the school room. Although it was incredibly important, obviously, and I encourage school a whole lot, but that's a great part to be an adult actor. My parents were really good at helping me understand rejection or dealing with rejection. And basically, every audition that I went on, my mom would take me, but she would always tell me constantly that go in and do your best, but no matter what, don't worry about it if you don't get it. And it's not necessarily that you didn't do a good job or they thought you were bad. It's because they could be looking for another type of girl. They could be looking for a girl with brown hair, or a girl that's taller than you, or smaller than you, or bigger than you, or more of a character. And she would just describe so many different personality types and physical looks that I was always encouraged that if I knew I did a good job, I felt good about it, and it didn't matter if I didn't get the part. Of course, getting a part is great and it's exciting and I love working, but it really made the rejection easy for me. I didn't ever actually feel like I was being rejected. I just thought, oh, they chose someone else because they wanted someone that looked different than me. So I encourage a lot of parents to talk to your kids about that and maybe present it in that way. And because it's not a competition, and I think if children ever feel pressure from their parents in that way, then it's not going to be a fun experience for the kids. My brother and I both grew up acting together. He actually was on Growing Pains, and just 2 years later, I was on Full House. And I was on Growing Pains 3 or 4 times, and my brother was on Full House once. We had a great time acting together. It was a really fun experience. But other than that, we really didn't talk about acting at home. It was a very, very separate thing. I also think because he was 6 years older than me, my mom was taking him on auditions separately, and then she would take me on auditions separately. And once we came home, it was all about being a family and doing school homework or doing chores or playing. And so we didn't discuss anything about acting when we were at home. So that was, it's a great experience to have a sibling in the business as well, but at the same time, it's not what connected us. So my advice for any young performers that are just starting out or have been in the business for a while is to really enjoy it. It should be from a passion within you that you want to act, and not any kind of pressure from parents or agents or anybody else. And I think that if you remember that it's a job, that you need to be professional, but then soak it all in to enjoy it, I think that you'll have a really incredible experience.